All right, we are here with a second transformation interview. We did a first one with this client. Now, this is his second go around because obviously you just don't do one transformation. It's a journey. So there's gonna be multiple stages to this, and I'm excited to hear this story. And what is your name?
Thanks, Joe. My name is Alan Redley.
All right, Alan. How old are you, Alan?
I am 49 years old now.
49. And what do you do again for work?
I'm a microbiologist. I run a lab in Toronto, and we do testing for biopharma clients.
Okay, microbiologist sounds super fancy. Is it active? Like, are you moving a lot? I'm assuming.
No, sadly, I sit on my computer a lot since I run the lab. I occasionally get off my butt and I get to go and look at the tests that the analysts are doing, but most of the time it's sitting on my butt and actually planning out things.
Okay, got it. That's why you're a member with us.
Absolutely. This is why I need it.
Exactly, exactly. How long have you been a member with us for?
Wow, it's been now 2.5 years, actually.
It's been 2.5 years.
It's been 2.5 years. It's crazy.
Time flies. Okay, so take me back to your journey, like before you started with us. Kind of just paint the picture. What was life like? Where were you at before you started?
Sure, absolutely. So, as per my previous interview, I got to a weight that was a little bit, well, it snuck up on me, right? When I was a kid, I was always very thin, very active, doing a lot of sports. And then once I hit university, the activity level drops a little bit. And then once you actually get a job, as most people know, your activity level really starts to decline if you're not motivated enough or you don't push yourself to do things.
Yeah.
For me, working out was not something that I was ever really interested in. I would much rather play sports or do something, like that.
Mhm.
And so it got to a point where my lifestyle was rather sedentary. Most of the jobs that I've done have been sitting in an office, working on a computer, as it is now, for the most part. And then I would get home, I'd be tired, I'd sit, maybe watch TV, of course, eat, which is a terrible combination. Watching and eating,
Yeah.
as most people realize, you stop. Your body forgets to sort of give itself signals that, hey, I'm full. You just
Yeah.
keep going. So I got to a weight that was over 230 pounds, and my body shape and type wasn't exactly where I wanted it to be. And what was really the biggest red flag for me was that I am now on blood pressure medication. And so that was a real scare for me. And that I realized that, if I want to be around for my kids when they get married, when they go through different phases of life, when they have kids, I needed to do something, and needed to do something right away. So
Mhm.
that's when I found out about Fight Fitness through a friend, Rebecca. And so she introduced me to you and the team. And I started out with Chris on the 6 week challenge. He was amazing. I'm not going to go into too many details since we've done that before, but I did lose over 25 pounds and over 6.5% body fat during that 6 week journey.
Mhm.
And then I managed to maintain that for over a year. And now in my second year, I really wanted to start focusing on maintaining that. So I went from, on the challenge, it's 3 days a week that I was working out. I maintained that for about a year after the challenge, and then I started getting interested in doing some weight training, some strength training,
Mhm.
and that's when Sean came into the picture. Chris as well, but Sean, I think, has a little bit more availability that fits with my schedule. So Sean was taking me through some weight training exercises, and I mean, I wasn't expecting to see, massive muscle growth or big changes like that. What I wanted to see was an improvement in my strength, an improvement in my mobility and flexibility. Still need to work on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what has been really amazing to me is seeing, like, Sean has been able to show me using the app that you know, where my progress is, even with lifts. And what I really like about the app, I'm forgetting the name of the app right now. I guess it's
Coach in your
Trainer.
corner.
Oh yeah, Coach in Your Corner. Sorry, yes. You know, you can look in, you, as long as you're so Sean has worked with you very much to plan out what my workouts will look like, what are the exercises that I should focus on. You know, I really enjoyed the collaboration with Sean as well. Like, I've been telling him what are my goals, what do I want to see. And you know, Sean and you are obviously knowledgeable enough that when I say, you know, I want to focus on upper body, I want to, you know, get stronger and be able to do more bench presses, or I want to be able to do pull-ups, stronger back. You realize that it isn't just doing, you know, arm curls and bench press and that's it. There are lots of other exercises that are required. And so the program that you guys have built for me is much more holistic, looking at all
Mhm.
body parts and working towards that kind of a goal.
Yeah.
You know, throughout the entire process, you know, I remember that during the challenge, the 6 week challenge, you know, it was a focus on accountability. It was a focus on the healthier eating style. You know, a lot of people think dieting and they think about just lower caloric intake, but it wasn't about that. It was about eating the right amount of foods and the right types of foods.
Mhm.
And so, you know, that just progressed, and the plan changed also to help me sort of build that muscle as well, and focus on the right steps to get to the strength levels that I wanted.
Yeah.
So going back to the Coach in Your Corner, I've been able to track the weights that I'm doing every single week. And so now, rather than just doing 3 days a week, so I'm still doing that with the kickboxing classes and the fit classes. I'm also now 2 days a week doing strength training classes. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm doing the exercises, and Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm doing the strength training. And I've been able to track how my strength has improved, and
Mhm.
how you know, we every 6 or 8 weeks we're throwing in some benchmarking. So looking at what can I do for a 5 rep max on deadlifts, bench press, you know, squatting,
Mhm.
and pull ups and stuff like that. And so, even though the initial plan way back at the very beginning was more about weight loss, and now that I'm progressing into the strength training, I've also noticed that, you know, 2.5 years ago I couldn't do a single chin up. Now I'm able to do 6 pull-ups,
Nice.
grip pull-ups, and we're working on wide grip and all that sort of stuff. And that's with no band, nothing, just
Yeah.
completely my own body weight.
That is
And
massive.
yeah, it's been incredible.
Lots to unpack there, but a
Yeah,
couple
sorry.
things.
I
No,
went
no,
on so long time.
it was great. I want to highlight a couple things that you said, which are really interesting. Number one, you mentioned that like growing up, you were the type that likes sports, and I think a lot of people that were super active, sports is always like the go-to because it's more like play, but it's
Yeah,
always a challenge to kind of get a group of people together in a time that makes the most sense. So people don't end up doing it. But what you've kind of transitioned to is almost like a sort of play right now, but tracking your own stats. Because why do people love sports? There's a scoreboard. You
yeah,
could see who's winning, who's losing. For you, now your scoreboard has become, what has my lift been this week? You know, how has my bench press progressed? How many pull-ups can I do? The game is just, it's still a game, but the game has changed, which I love about this. And that's kind of like the journey we see like with a lot of clients. First thing to get in there is just get a quick win. Weight loss, sure, body composition, healthy eating, that's great. But then the game changes. You have to have, and there has to be a score. There has to be something that you're tracking, which you're doing. The other thing I want to unpack too is like you talk about like how many pull-ups you're doing, your bench, your deadlift, your squats. Have you heard of the our strength standards?
yeah. I think Sean's mentioned it. I don't know the full details though, so if you can share that, that'd be great.
I'll share it with you after this call, but I want to touch on that a little bit. That like when we set up, like we talk about the three main lifts, which is a deadlift, a squat, a bench, and this could be a hex bar deadlift, it could be a back squat, a front squat, whatever works more for more mobility for people, and also bench press. But just for the basic, good level is going to be one times your weight your body weight for deadlift, squat about 0.75% times your weight. Bench press, you should be able to bench half your weight, and you should be able to bang out 5 pull-ups. You've already got the pull-up portion, which is awesome.
Yep.
Where are you at with the squat, bench, and squat, bench, and deadlift? Do you know in comparison to your body weight?
Sure, absolutely. So right now, so at the peak of the transformation, I got down to about 205
Hmm.
for my weight. Um, I haven't been as tight with the food recently. Partially, I was trying to see if I could gain some weight through like muscle.
Hmm.
And so my weight is fluctuating anywhere between 210, 215 around there. And the most recent bench press benchmark that we did, I pushed 165 pounds 5 times. That was my fourth set. So I went a simple like 85-pound initial warm up. Then I progressed to 85, or sorry, 155, 162 5 times, and then 165 5 times. And I think I still could have gone a little bit higher.
That is well past the half your body weight. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah, I'm
phenomenal.
really happy with that.
It's awesome. So upper body's looking good. Do you know where you're at with squat or deadlift?
I don't remember the exact numbers. I can obviously look it up in the app. I think it was definitely over 230 pounds that I did the squatting. I think it was maybe as close as 240 or somewhere in that range. So definitely over my body weight.
Yeah, you're crushing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
was I was really surprised. I thought that would be a big challenge for me.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, Sean's workout and the plan that you set up for us has been
There
great.
you go. Good. Things are working. Things are headed to the right direction, which is awesome. And I think that becomes the game. I think that's like it just becomes like, are you getting 1% better every day? We're not looking for huge leaps and bounds because that's not like if you want to do this for a long time, you can't have always those huge gains, but every 1% better every single day, which is I think which is a good you're on that pace. Um, question for you in terms of like you still do the classes while you're still doing the strength training sessions. What draws you to continue doing the classes consistently?
First of all, they're a lot of fun. I really enjoy them. As I've said many times before, it's a community, right? Yes, I've noticed over the past 2.5 years that faces change, and that's normal in this kind of environment. But there are a lot of people that are consistently there too, and everybody is just so welcoming, right? Nobody's looking at your body. Nobody is comparing themselves against anybody else. All the workouts are there that we do together, but it's really you're just competing against yourself, right? And I've just found it's just so enjoyable, and I wanted to keep going with the weight loss as well. I mean, I know that I've said competing things there. I was trying to gain weight muscle wise, but I still have a ways to go for my own plan on my body shape and that sort of stuff. So I'm still trying to get rid of some of the fat,
Yep.
especially the visceral fat. And
Yep.
yeah, so the kickboxing classes and the fit classes, I just enjoy them so much that I couldn't see myself stopping that.
Love it. Love it. And you touched, it was going to go to my next question about like goals moving forward. In the next year or so, what are the big benchmarks? What are the big milestones you want to hit?
Well, obviously, I want to keep going with the strength training. That has been key for me. It's in my younger years where maybe if I had that motivation, I might have been able to see big improvements in that area back then. Now that I'm quite a bit older, I'm getting to it late, but better late than never, right?
Yeah, love it. Yeah.
So I'm it's you mentioned something that actually was really important to me. We talked about how sports, there's it's competitive, there's a goal, there's a scoreboard. I never documented things in the past when I was younger. So that motivation wasn't there. I wasn't tracking it to see improvement. So I never really saw improvement. And so I just didn't stick with it. Now that you and Coach Sean have forced me to track my weight, see what I'm doing, I've actually started seeing that improvement. And one big thing I want to mention to people, if anyone's watching this and they're concerned when they're working out, one of the biggest concerns I had was that I would notice some days I felt like I could push more, and then other days where I didn't have the energy. And that's going to happen. Life happens, especially as we're getting older. There are days where we're exhausted after work. So you might not be lifting that 165 pounds or whatever for your bench press, right? But the fact of the matter is that if you look at it over the long term and you see a steady increase, that's when you start noticing that you actually are improving. And so these are all things that help keep me motivated to come back, and I just want to keep increasing that, keep working on it. So specific goals I'm looking for, I want to hit 10 pull-ups. That's my next target. Being able to do one was the first one, but now I can do 6. So now I'm looking for 10.
Let's go.
Continued improvement in my mobility and flexibility, which the strength exercises surprisingly have actually helped a lot. I think a lot of people think that you should just always stretch, but doing the motions under weight actually also helps to improve your mobility. And that was something I never understood before.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to keep working on that, and really just continued discussions with you and Sean, and try to figure out, what's the next phase? What can I do next? So it's all just whole body, keep on working on it. And of course, like I said, the visceral fat is the next target that I have to keep working on.
Let's keep going with that. And visceral fat, abs are made in the kitchen, they say. So we'll tighten up the nutrition with you. But a couple things I think I heard was what gets measured gets managed. I think that's the big thing. And the second thing I got out of that, the trend is your friend. You just got to keep looking at the trends. Things are getting stronger. As long as you're moving upwards, you're gonna have ups and downs. That's life, like you said. I had a 5-hour bike ride schedule today. I only got 3.5 because I had to get back to work. It made it happen still. So, but in the grand scheme of things, as long as you're continuing, which is awesome. Alan, I thank you so much for doing this, man. It's always a joy watching how people progress from, starting off with us, initial things, lose a little bit of weight. Great, but now it's kind of the next level, which is you're managing it. It's become a game, and you're playing it, and you're having fun, and you're seeing improvement. Congratulations on this transformation, and I can't wait to do this again with you in about a year's time when you hit that 10 pull-ups. You're smashing all your strength goals, which is awesome.
Thank you so much, Joe. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Alan. Take care.
Take care.